Did you just put it that way? Did you just say I'm compartmentalizing my days with the minor league baseball?
Well, I think you have to have some difference, some scheduled time that's not work and something that's more leisurely.
There you go.
And I think that's important to have a little bit of balance.
Yes, we must compartmentalize. Jon Mozes from the Altoona Curve, brought to us this morning by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. All right, let's get your head in the ball game here, huh?
I'm ready.
Hey, what was going on last night with the Curve? They couldn't hit the baseball. 13 strikeouts?
It was just one of those days. It's sort of tough to explain. They're facing a pretty good pitcher in Adam Kloffenstein last night, and they had good at bats. They drew 7 walks against the starting pitcher in 4 2/3 innings, and if they put the ball in play a couple more times, they probably have 3 or 4 runs out of that at least.
Yeah.
Just one of those days where you hit the ball hard and it's right at somebody. It was a tough one.
Yeah, it was. Matthew Frazier with the home run to lead off the game. He's a guy that we have great hopes for, but it just hasn't come together yet for him at the Double-A level. He just tore up Greensboro last year, and it's been tough to translate that swing into Double-A.
Well, he's shown signs of it. He had a couple multi-hit games in a row last week. When Frazier first came up to Altoona, he had 10 multi-hit games in his first 25 with the Curve last year. It's in there somewhere. And it's just a matter of finding that consistency with Frazier right now, who just, has sort of had some ups and downs when it comes to swing and miss. He's chased a few pitches out of the zone this year, but he continues to play good defense, and, last night, great to see him jump on that second pitch of the ball game and send it out for a home run. Usually, nights like that, you get a big burst of energy early on, and it turns into a good night at the plate, but just wasn't the case.
It's kind of interesting, and we've talked about this before, how fluid a roster can be in Double-A baseball, minor league baseball overall. Guys going up, guys coming down, guys fighting for jobs, and hoping that they can advance the career at Double-A, get up to Triple-A, or even go straight to the majors. We've seen it happen with the Curve this year. There's a fella that's scheduled to pitch named Aaron Shortridge, who really is a fascinating story, isn't he?
For sure. He underwent Tommy John surgery in January of 2021, so when Aaron first got to us, he and I were chatting in the lobby of the hotel a couple days ago, and he was just saying it's so nice to finally be on a team again, after not playing at all in 2020 and then having to hang out at the complex, rehabbing for the entire year in 21, and then, made a couple of rehab starts at Bradenton before making his way up to Altoona. And I think he's pretty excited to get back out there. This is a guy that the Pirates think pretty highly of. Took him in the 4th round in 2019. So I'm excited to see what he's got. Tonight will be his team debut.
Yeah, Aaron Shortridge on the mound for the Curve tonight. Derek Shelton has brought this up several times. The lost year of 2020 was just, a terrible experience for teams and franchises like the Altoona Curve, but for players, individual players themselves at that level of baseball, you really can't understate how difficult it is to take a year off and then pick it up and expect to be playing baseball on a progression like you might have been on beforehand. It's really been tough for some fellas throughout the minor league systems to find their stride again.
Absolutely. And, you and I have talked about players young for the level or old for the level. The age of a player, I think, if he's 25 and playing at Double-A, you sort of have to take that with a big grain of salt because, he missed a whole year of development that may have taken place at High A in 2020 or at Double-A. He might have been at Double-A earlier had there not been a canceled minor league season. So, it is a really difficult thing that a lot of these guys have had to work through, and we talked about this quite a bit last year. Those guys that really put in the work in the year away, that worked on their body or had a significant development piece that they were working on for that year off, those guys that were able to stay loose have played well and sort of hit the ground running, but, not everybody was fortunate to be at the alternate training site or to have a great situation where they could work out during the summer of 2020. So, that lost year of development is really significant for a lot of players.
Yeah, it is, and you don't blame them for the way that year 2020 worked out for them, but you understand, and they do too, that there were obstacles to overcome because of it, and that alternate training site was so important for a lot of fellas, but just as important for a lot of fellas that didn't get to go to it.
For sure. The guys that were there, for the most part, played pretty well in the early parts of 2021, and some of those guys have been able to carry that forward into major league careers already. Tucupita Marcano, I think, is a good example of that, based on the way he showed at the alternate site in 2020 and 21 for the Padres before they made the trade. And, now look at Tucupita, who's a pretty useful player in the big leagues for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he is. And from that standpoint, so many new guys came into the Pirates system. You could only have so many different players at that alternate training site, and so the Pirates had their group. But they've got guys that were in alternate training sites with other teams, and so Tucupita is one of those examples. Maybe Jack Sawinski too, and it's paying off for the Pirates now. So you're back home next week, right?
That's right. Looking forward to being back in Altoona. We've got fireworks a couple of times on the next homestand. Kurt Angle is going to be in for a special appearance. I believe that's Friday night, July the 1st. And then July 3rd, is our biggest fireworks show of the year. It's celebrating Independence Day. So should be a good week. I'm looking forward to getting back to Altoona.
I hear that one of the big highlights is going to be Preston Shoemaker actually wrestling Kurt Angle. Is that true?
Yes, that is very true. Preston is going to do a 2-minute match right before first pitch on home plate. We've got a lot of camera crews out and ready to document Kurt and Preston.
Yeah, well, you just stay far enough back that he can't tag you in.
That's true. My abilities as a wrestler finished at age 7, so unfortunately I won't be much of a help.
All right. So the Curve next week. Besides that, you've got those other events that you mentioned. It's going to be a good time for Altoona next week, and folks can come out and get their tickets and watch the Curve play some baseball.
That's right, and hopefully we can string together a few wins, turning the page into the second half of the season.
That's a good plan. Jon Mozes, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Talk to you next week.
All right.